Alrighty, welcome everyone. Welcome to episode 1. Episode 1 of the Mage Masher 22 podcast. I still don't have a name for it. Thank you to those who watched the premiere of this series, the test run, if you will, in episode 0. A lot of really great feedback on that, and I'm genuinely surprised how many people actually gave a crap. So thank you so much. I think I'm going to give this a go. So, yeah, episode 1, don't have a name for this yet. There was some really good suggestions. Mage's Musings was a nice one. Bit of alliteration there. I do like a bit of alliteration. We had Magecast, which is, you know, it just fits, doesn't it? Mages cast magic. I cast nonsense. Kind of beautiful. So that is a very strong contender. Talking Tripe with Mage is a great one because of the Dragon Quest connection there. But I just don't know. I can't make decisions. I think it's just going to have a different name every week. But anyway, so yeah, thank you to anyone who listened to the first episode. I will take your comments on board, and this is something that will definitely evolve over time. I have never done this before, so hopefully I will improve as we go along. The first few episodes are probably going to be a little bit shaky, but I do hope you enjoy them regardless. So I'm going to get my very professionally put together notepad up, and we've got some things to talk about this week. Quite a busy week for me, just video game-wise, doing a lot of recording, and a few games came out this week that I am very, very, very excited about continuing to play. And, well, first of all, the big one, Star Ocean, The Divine Force, or Star Ocean 6, that was released, and Square, they reached out to me beginning of this month, actually, asking if I would be interested in being sponsored to cover the game, pretty much do a video and a live stream, which I have done, and can I just say, I can't believe the attendance we've had, you know, for the live stream that I did on release day, which was on Thursday, the 27th of October. I couldn't believe how many people turned up and supported that. And it was nerve-wracking because I knew that Square, you know, I'm sending them the analytical data, and so they're going to see how well the stream did, how well my video's done, and again, hugely, and like so blown away by how many views that's gotten so far. So thank you everyone who's checked those out. But yeah, it's really nerve-wracking because this is like the first time I've ever been approached by a company via a PR agency to not only cover a game and not only be sent a game, but actually be paid to create content. You know, usually it's just, you know, I'm lucky enough whenever I get sent a game code. You know, I can't even believe that happens. It blows my mind every single time. But yeah, they were actually like willing to fork out money to little old me to show off the game, and I hope I did a good enough job, and I hope they consider it worth their while and maybe lead to more opportunities in the future. But Star Ocean, so far, I mean, I've not played much, maybe about 5 hours or so. I've just been so busy. I haven't managed to really dive into it properly yet for a long session, but really enjoying it. It's definitely a massive step up from Star Ocean 5. I mean, I've not hid at all or made no effort to disguise my disdain for that game. That was a huge letdown, and just not great. Just really didn't enjoy it. So seeing that I'm having a much better experience already with this new one is very promising, and I hope it continues. I hope it turns out to be a really good one. It's reviewed actually quite well. I was nervous about how this game was going to be received, but it seems to be doing pretty well, all things considered, especially for a JRPG of this particular budget and kind of niche. I don't think Star Ocean is huge. I don't think it's nearly as big as Tales, or definitely not Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest. So it's good to see that it's been received pretty well across the board, and I do hope people are enjoying it if you are playing it. But I will be hopefully getting a full Let's Play of it out. Trying my best to get videos done as soon as possible, because we've got a lot of things coming in December, and I really want to make sure I don't have my plate too full when Crisis Core comes around, and Dragon Quest Treasures, which are both things I'm just so excited for. And who knows if I get sent those, or, you know, I'll be buying them regardless. So those Let's Plays will happen. But yeah, Star Ocean so far, really, Really enjoying it. A couple of little, like, I guess cons with the combat system. Mostly the camera. The camera takes some getting used to. And it's not, you're not going to get AAA quality animations and graphics from a Star Ocean game these days. I just don't think that's reasonable to expect. But overall, I'm actually pleasantly surprised how good it looks. Weird character models and dodgy animations aside, it feels very much like a JRPG from a bygone era, and that is probably a good thing or a bad thing depending on who you talk to. But the combat is fun, and the character interactions are super well, like engaging, and I genuinely look forward to what my character's going to say to each other. So that's a huge plus. But yeah, well, hopefully the playthrough will go well, and really huge thank you to anyone who's checked that out so far. So yeah, that was the biggest thing this week. We had the release of the Resident Evil 8 DLC, which includes the Shadows of Rose story mode, which is by all accounts not that long, maybe 4 or 5 hours, but that's still a decent length. Considering the price, it's like 15 quid, something like that, and you get like the third-person mode for the main game as well, which I'm really curious to see how that changes the experience. But I started my playthrough. I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to do it so soon because I am so very swamped with other games. But so far, it's been really fun. I've played about 2 hours, and enough people asked me about it. Enough people were like, Mage, are you going to do a playthrough of Shadows of Rose? And I was actually surprised by that, because while my Resident Evil Village playthrough did way better than I thought, and in general, my recent Resident Evil stuff has done quite well, I just don't really consider myself a Resident Evil channel, if you will, even though I've done a lot of the games, and it is one of my favorite series. I just didn't realize people would look forward to watching me play the new ones. And of course, I'm going to be doing Resident Evil 4. I talked about that last week. But yeah, it was kind of crazy. I was like, oh, okay, well, yeah. Enough people asked to where I was like, you know what, I can push it forward. And since it is going to be such a short experience anyway, I can squeeze it in. And yeah, so far, really enjoying it. It's got a weird story though. Like, I'm not going to spoil anything here, obviously, but the story, the premise is very odd, but it's interesting. So I want to see where it goes, and Rose herself seems like a pretty cool protagonist, She's a teenage girl, which, I relate to heavily, of course, being a 30-year-old man, but she's still pretty entertaining, and just having a great time with it. So, I hope anyone else who's checked that out so far is having a good time. But gaming-wise, that's about it this week, really. Other than just, I'm still playing Danganronpa whenever I can. Dragon Quest Monsters Joker is super fun. Probably going to do some more grinding streams of that here on YouTube eventually. But yeah, no. Movie-wise, I actually watched, to get in the Halloween spirit, I actually watched the original Halloween 2 for the first time in at least 10 years. At least 10 years. I haven't seen it in so long, and it was one of those movies that I actually remember watching a lot as a kid. I don't know why I didn't watch Halloween 1 more. Actually, no, I do know, because I never owned Halloween 1. I got Halloween 2 on DVD for Christmas, weirdly enough. But it was a bootleg DVD. I can't remember who gave it me. I think it might have been one of my uncles. One of my uncles in particular has a history of giving me bootleg DVDs as a present for Christmas. I know I got Goblet of Fire 1 year as well. So, I remember watching it a lot as a kid. Have not seen it in so long, so I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. I still haven't seen Halloween Ends yet. I've heard very mixed things on that, but I've quite enjoyed the new Halloween movies, so... Michael Myers is my favorite slasher villain of all time, and I actually bought myself the Halloween Ends mask replica, which I've shown off on some of my streams. It's actually super good quality. I couldn't believe how faithful to the films it was. It's really good like it's not a knockoff or anything like that, you know. And I was very careful because you look on Amazon for Michael Myers masks and you can get all sorts of crap on there. So the unfortunate thing is, though, most of the crappy masks are quite accurate to the films that are in, because I don't know if anyone's like knowledgeable on the Halloween series, but they have gone through some really shit mask designs. Oh my god. Oh, but yeah, I watched Halloween 2 and it does not hold up. In my memory, it was way better. I can't say it was, the atmosphere was good, and it's nice seeing like just the direct continuation of Halloween 1. Yeah, some slight continuity errors aside, it felt very much like what they did with Halloween Kills recently, and that's why I quite enjoyed Halloween 2018 and Kills, because they both just feel like one long movie in a way. Halloween 2 was kind of it did it first, and overall, just it didn't really. It's aged a little bit, but I don't know. It's still entertaining. I can watch a Halloween film regardless of which one it is. Although maybe not Resurrection, and enjoy them just for what they are. I don't take them too seriously, so eventually I will get around to watching Halloween Ends. I don't know when, but when I do, I will let you know what I thought. But yeah, Halloween 2, great atmosphere aside, and Donald Pleasance just becoming more and more unhinged as the film goes on. Oh, he was so good in those films. Like, the ending is insane. But yeah, I watched that in just randomly one night, and so that was the only thing I've watched. Actually, the only thing I've watched in quite a while. Speaking of another horror franchise that I deeply adore, that's had some news, is they've announced Saw 10 or Saw X for release next year. Now, I love the Saw films. The first one, in my opinion, is a genuinely fantastic horror film. As they go on, they get more and more ridiculous, but I can still enjoy them. They're messed up, you know. The first one is quite restrained, really, when you consider how excessively gory and sadistic they become in later films, and just the plot is just an utter mess, but I love it. It's so convoluted. Flashbacks within flashbacks, and just I love Saw. And they're doing a new one now. It's apparently not related to the Jigsaw kind of was a mainline entry. It was okay. It was fine. It had a cool little, I guess, twist. I enjoy the twists in the Saw films, even though some of them are ridiculous. I haven't seen Spiral. Was it Chris Rock, Samuel L. Jackson? I haven't seen that one. I heard it was pretty bad, but I should get around to it eventually. But yes, the most exciting thing about this news is Tobin Bell, the Jigsaw Killer, is coming back, and I've no fucking idea how, because spoilers, he died a long ass time ago. Not the actor, the character. Tobin Bell is very much alive. Thank God. He's fantastic. He's one of the most iconic horror villains in my mind. Just his voice, you know. Ugh. I can't even emulate it, but yeah, he's coming back. So I don't know what the heck the story's going to be, how they're going to do it. Is it going to be more flashbacks? Because, like I said, they do like to do those. But I'm excited just because Tobin Bell is awesome, and I love the Saw franchise, as ridiculous as it is. But genuinely, if you haven't seen Saw, watch the first one. The first one, I think, is a genuinely fantastic thriller horror with less gore than you might imagine, based on, you know, the series' reputation. It is, you know, like just torture porn. It is. But the first one is way more low key and more about the characters and the story than you might think, and I genuinely adore it. Even if the acting is a little bit inconsistent from the main two guys. I think Lee Winnell, he wrote it, and you can tell he's not really an actor, although he has kind of moved on from that. He was in the Insidious films, and he wasn't bad. So yeah, it's just a great film. I love Saw. I haven't watched it in so long, and I really do need to give that another crack, Because yeah, Saw's great. I did you play the games? There was two. I think I never played the second one, but I played the first game on 360, which I think was Konami either developed or published it, and I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was okay as far as movie tie-ins go. It kind of did its own thing though, its own story, which was a little bit janky, and honestly, it probably isn't a very good game. But I remember really enjoying it back when I played it. When did it come out? It was like the mid to late 2000s on 360. And honestly, if you're a fan of the Saw series and you haven't played the game, I would recommend giving it at least a watch on YouTube. There's probably quite a few Let's Plays and things you can check out. But yeah, it was surprisingly decent. Whether or not it holds up, I don't know. But super excited for Saw 10. Is it gonna be good? I don't know. Saw is very inconsistent. Like, I think Saw 6 is probably the best modern Saw film. And when did that come out? Like, quite a while ago. Then again, Saw took a bit of a hiatus until they kind of they didn't really reboot it with Jigsaw, but it's a franchise I do enjoy. It's not perfect, but what can you do? The biggest, well, I don't know if it's the biggest TV news. I know House of the Dragon has ended its first season. I still haven't watched any of that yet. I'm very, very excited because I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. That's ended, but for all you Whovians out there, it looks like David Tennant is coming back to Doctor Who in some capacity. I'm gonna lose a lot of subscribers here, and because I'm British, I feel like this is like an affront to my nationality. But I've never been much of a fan of Doctor Who. I've tried it on many occasions. I tried it with I quite like Christopher Eccleston as the Doctor, but just the whole tone of the show, it's not really my thing. I can see the appeal, but I don't know. I've never really got on with it. I saw a little bit of Tennant. I saw a little bit of Smith. I was really excited for Capaldi because I was more of a fan of him from the Thick of It series. I don't know if any of you have seen that. Honestly, he played one of my all-time favorite fictional characters in that show, Malcolm Tucker. Google, like, YouTube Malcolm Tucker tirades. You will absolutely piss yourself laughing. If you enjoy creative cursing, it's stunning, and what a performance. So I was really excited to see him as the Doctor, and I tried it again, didn't really like it, and that was kind of the last I watched of Doctor Who. I didn't see any of oh god, I don't even know her name. Is it Jodie Whittaker? So I'm so sorry, I don't know her name. And yeah, I don't even remember the name of the guy who's actually playing the new Doctor, but I know David Tennant is involved, and people are probably like losing their minds over that. I do like him as an actor, though. I loved him in the Jessica Jones Marvel series. He was such a good villain, and just seems like a genuinely nice bloke. So if that brings people joy that he's back in Doctor Who for however long, then that's pretty cool. But I don't really watch Doctor Who. Can't get on with it. Going back to games. This was a funny little news story. Well, not really funny, but it boggles my mind that this is still a thing. The Callisto Protocol, which I mentioned briefly last week, from the original creators of Dead Space, survival horror, super gory. It's been banned in Japan. Apparently because they were not willing to censor the game, and it really does. It amazes me that we still have to censor. That sounds like a Star Wars alien. It's still like we still censor things like that in the modern day and age. Different rating boards have different standards, I know, but that's kind of crazy. And even more so that they just weren't willing to do it. Like, they didn't want to, I don't know, like, sacrifice their vision or make any compromises. So in a way, I'm like, well, good on you, but at the same time, it kind of sucks that people in Japan aren't going to be able to play that, because it looks really, really good. Even if what they would get to play would be a watered down version, I still think, and I imagine there is a lot of work that goes into making adjustments to a game that's so very late in production. I mean, it's out nearly next month now, so yeah, it's a little bit sad, but I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think censorship should be a thing these days? I mean, in certain aspects, in certain situations, it obviously should, but I don't know. I always assume Japan is just way more like what's the word? Accommodating, or no, that's not really the word I'm looking for, but just I don't know. Japan has a lot of messed up stuff, like all the animes and things like that. I just don't really associate Japan with a country, that would be so squeamish in a way. But at the same time, I mean, I know Australia do a lot of censoring, and it was weird to me. Maybe I'm just, I don't know. I don't really care what's in my game as long as it's good. I'm quite, I don't know. Maybe I'm just desensitized at this point. But yeah, that was a news story and a half. So yeah, sucks. If you were looking forward to Callisto Protocol, I mean, I guess you can probably still play it. You just have to play it in a different language, I suppose. I don't know how it's going to work, but it sucks for those that were looking forward to it. But hey, at least you've got the Dead Space remake coming out in January, so it's probably going to be quite similar. But I'm really, really curious to see how Callisto Protocol does. I'm very, very excited. I think that might be a game I play on stream, honestly. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, moving on. We did a charity stream on Saturday, raising money for Gamers Outreach Foundation. They do a spooktacular streamathon every year, or they have done for the past couple of years anyway. And I decided I would play some Batman Arkham Asylum in costume, in quotation marks. I had a pretty decent Batman cowl, even though it's incredibly uncomfortable to wear, as I soon found out for any extended period of time. But it was super fun. We had some random Batman sound effects playing when people donated. And again, huge thank you to anyone who could turn up and support that, especially those who donated. We raised a whopping $360, which I brought up to $400 when I donated myself after the stream. And I think we did a lot of good, They basically get video games into hospitals. They have these little kiosks called go-karts. And I think it's just such a great cause. They reached out to me, asked if I would get involved. And it's been a while since I've done my last charity stream. I wanted to do one earlier on this year, but it didn't really pan out. I've just been busy. So when this came along, I was like, you know what? This sounds like a good thing to do. And Halloween, spooky season, it just seemed... Yeah, I don't know why I picked Batman. I've been kind of itching to play Arkham Asylum again. So that was really fun, playing the remaster of that after what turned out to be 6 years since I last played it. I thought I played it way more recently than that, so I'd forgotten quite a bit. But we got quite far. I went for about 4 hours. So again, big thank you to anyone who could make that. I announced it quite a ways in advance. It turns out I didn't really get any more people than I usually do on a stream, so I don't know if announcing it so far in advance is actually useful. But, we still had great attendance. And like I said, we raised so much money. So thank you so much, everyone, for the support on that. I don't know if I'm going to be doing Thankmas this year yet. We'll see. Depends how busy I am. But that obviously went really well last year. That was my first ever charity stream where I did my shiny hunt on Pokemon, trying to get a Dialga, which took many hours. This was a much more chill charity stream, just playing some Batman, talking about the films and just kind of vibing while punching criminals into a bloody pulp, which you just can't really beat that. It was a lot of fun. But the cowl, I had to take breaks. I wasn't anticipating on doing. I was hoping to go for a lot longer as well, just wearing the cowl, but it was just... I could barely breathe in that blooming thing. I should have made nose holes. I realize this now. It was a mistake because it was quite claustrophobic, and so I know it's not even remotely comparable, but I kind of feel for those Batman actors. Depending on what suit they had to wear, it is not a comfy thing. I mean, I can't even imagine being in a full body suit. Ugh. I was sweating enough as it is. in a crappy little rubber cow thing. It was it was fun though. It was for a good cause, and I would definitely like to stream and raise money for them again, because it is such a good charity. But yeah, I think in future maybe choose a more comfortable costume. So yeah, hugely thankful for anyone who turned up for that. Oh, and going back to David Tennant, if it turns out, I know I just said like he's a decent chap and all that. If it turns out he's involved in any sort of scandal later down the line, like he hunts otters on weekends or something, I have the right to rescind this endorsement. This never happened, okay? You just never know these days. You got to cover your back. Although, yeah. Anyway, that was so not funny. I think we're coming to the end of what I had to talk about this week. There really isn't much else as far as I'm aware. Again, these are going to be varying lengths depending on just what happens during the week. It's Halloween tomorrow at the time of recording. My niece is going to be trick-or-treating as Harry Potter. So there we go. She wanted to do that apparently. And I don't know if I'm going to go around with it or not. I do have a Michael Myers costume that might need a test run, but we'll see. I will let you know if that happens next week. Hopefully, if we get another one of these done, I'm going to try and get these done weekly. But it really does depend on my availability. I am very busy right now. I'm still playing far too many games at once. This is a problem. I realize this. It is an issue. But also, big hello to anyone who's found the channel lately. We are steadily growing still. Things, peaks and troughs on YouTube, depending on the time of year and what videos tend to get promoted on YouTube. I have no idea how this blooming algorithm works, but I know a few new people have joined with the Star Ocean stuff. So, hello, hi. I hope the channel continues to grow, and I hope you're enjoying these podcasts. They might be just something a little bit different, something to stick on in the background, even if they're not super lengthy or anything like that. And a few people have asked if I would ever get guests on this, which I am absolutely open to. A few of my friends maybe want to join on this at some point, but I'm very nervous at the moment. I want to make sure I feel comfortable doing this first. Especially with getting people's schedules and things correct, and being able to lead a podcast with other people is a little bit different to just recording it by myself, which is usually what I do. I'm really not much of I don't do the social thing very well. So hopefully that will be something that can happen in the future. But for now, I'm just going to try and get used to this. Hopefully it will be something that does improve over time. Like I said at the beginning of this, it's very new and scary and exciting, and just a little bit of a change, isn't it? A little bit of a change. So I don't have any more topics, chaps. This is going to be the end of episode 1 of the Mage Musing Talks Tripecast. Really, I swear it's going to have a different name every time. I absolutely guarantee this. But I hope you enjoyed it. At the moment, the only plans I have is to put this on YouTube. I'm not even thinking about putting it on other platforms like Spotify or Apple or anything like that. I don't even know how to do that anyway. But I don't have it. I feel like this isn't really professional enough anyway. I need sound. I need jingles. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what a podcast is. This is just basically an update video without the video. So, we'll see how this grows over time. Thank you for the support, everyone, and I hope you all have a fantastic Halloween as well. Let me know in the comments if you are going to be dressing up, or what you're going to be dressing up as, and what is your favorite scary movie. I enjoyed the new Scream film. It was pretty good. But anyway, thanks for watching, listening, and I will see you hopefully next week, chaps. Bye-bye for now.